First of all, Shukrana Guruji that you accept us and make us your, and we can call you ours because we know कहते हैं ना जेते समुंदर सागर नीर पर्या तेते अवगुण हमारे दया करो कुछ मेर पाओ दुबदे पत्थर तारे. So that is how useless we all are. We are full of it. Every day I make certain promises to myself. Most important promise that I make to myself, I will stop this judging in the head. Because even if we see a picture on Facebook or somewhere and we just say, oh, we think something, I say, बोलते तो नहीं है पर गुरुजी मन तो अभी भी चल रहा है तो इसको अभी आप ही हेल्प करो कि इसको हम कंट्रोल करें. And Guruji may he help us to improve as we are trying also to ourselves, but without his help we are still going to be struggling only. And my journey with Guruji, I don't know kab se hai because yes, as we all know that it is not just the day we went to him, but it is obviously it's got its roots long back. So Guruji's Empire Estate Mandir is 10 minutes away from my house, very gratefully. I stay actually in a village and I used to resent staying here. कि मैं कहाँ रहती हूँ या आसपास अब तक कुछ नहीं प्रॉपरली मिलता बट टुडे आई रियलाइज व्हाट अ बिग ब्लेसिंग वेयर आई स्टे बिकॉज आई एम 12 minutes away from बड़े मंदिर and just so well placed that I would never want to stay anywhere else now. So we as usual you go to Guruji when you have a problem. We went to him. Each one went with their own something. I think my mother-in-law was with me. My husband also had an issue. I'll tell you about all the problems that they had. And I, of course, went thinking that I am going to a Mahapurush. I didn't know anything more and I didn't think of Guruji as anything more than that. So I used to bow down to him with lots of respect. And I used to cover my head all the time when I was with Guruji in the mandir. बिकॉज ये भी मुझे पता था कि अपने से ढक के ही बैठते हैं चाहे मैं कहीं भी जाती हूँ चाहे मंदिर में भी जाती हूँ सो दैट वाज थैंक गॉड आई हैड द अकल टू डू दैट एंड एवरी टाइम आई बेंट डाउन टू टेको मत्था आई थिंक आई डोंट वांट टू एग्जैजरेट और से लेस बट आई थिंक गुरुजी सेड इट इन एट 3 times तू ऐश कर तू ते बस ऐश ही कर सो दैट वाज at that time a very big blessing which I didn't understand again. I thought he says this to everybody who bows down to him. So didn't know that the major issues that were happening in my life, which I never spoke about to Guruji or anybody, but he changed my life from then to really Ashkar today. Everything, physically, mentally, emotionally, in every possible way, he has blessed and only blessed, and he gives. He goes on giving. That is the way our Guruji is. He forgives and he gives. And my husband went to him because we had a house in Chandigarh. We have a house in Chandigarh. At that time, that house was given on rent to some people. This family, they were very, very politically connected and in power. They had changed their mind about returning our house to us. They wanted to keep the house. And they had stopped paying the rent, which was a very small worry. But the bigger agenda was what we were very worried about. And when my husband bowed down to him, he blessed him. And he said something, I don't know the words, but he indicated that house, don't worry about, you'll get it. My mother-in-law had something with the valve of her heart, and that needed an open heart surgery. She never wanted it. She didn't want to go through any surgery. And he said, no need. He said, koi operation karan di lod nahi. So she was happiest. And she said, she came home and said, pata hai sabko abhi sun lo, Guruji ne aise bola hai. So she was so mighty happy. And she was somebody who, she was very, very pious and dil ki bahut very saaf kind of lady, So she really loved him. Without being very, demonstrative. That's not what her love was, very pure and internal. And he was, I think, very fond of my husband, because he used to say, when he used to see my husband, he used to say, Aja Sardara. That was also very cute. And my husband, for the longest time, I used to watch, even after Guruji was no more. He used to go to Bade Mandir very regularly. My house had about maybe 20 pictures of Guruji, big swarups. And I used to say, Sukhbir, what are you doing? So he said, matlab, he was like that. I don't know. And people would come home and they would say, are you all followers of Guruji? And I, like a very stupid woman, used to say, yeah, he's my husband's guru. Anyway, but Guruji, I think, had a lot of patience with me, or he knew that there will be a day when this girl will talk about nothing but me. And I'm very grateful for that, because he very patiently got me back. My boys, my two sons also used to go with me to Guruji. They were in school at that time. And I know that these boys are so blessed, because I would never have imagined that they would turn out so good and, so, matlab, so right. My younger one was a little weak in his studies, but the way Guruji made it, today this boy, he is very respected, and he's a genius. He was given, when he went to the universities that he studied in, he was given scholarships, by the universities. So that's how he is, and he did brilliantly in class 10 and 12. It may seem like I was worrying for nothing, but genuinely it is only Guruji that changed it completely from that to this. And Guruji used to, we met Guruji even when he was in his just regular clothes, his pant shirt, and he would sit on the cabinet. And then when he would sit in his beautiful royal robes. So in every way, and I would go pretty often. And I used to sit with Guruji, eat my langar. I saw all these celebrities, I would say, sitting there. And then I remember very clearly when Olga auntie was told to share her satsang, I heard it there. Today, there are so many old sangat that I see on YouTube, and I used to say, oh my God, I bet I've seen her also, I've seen her also. We used to see them all over there, but we didn't talk to anybody. We were all we were there for Guruji anyway. So, but it's nice that the journey began at a time when so many people who Guruji would talk to, I didn't even want to talk to him. I was very scared of him actually. I used to think कि अभी डांट पड़ जाएगी अगर कुछ मैंने फालतू बोला या मुझे कुछ शायद वो बोलेंगे तो समझ नहीं आएगी, तो I used to avoid that, कि ना ही मेरे से बात करे. Today I regret it so badly because I didn't know. I just was a very पता नहीं क्या था, whatever it was. So this was just the beginning of Guruji, and besides what we heard in Bade Mandir, I mean in Empire Estate from the Sangat, there were some very live examples of people being blessed, which obviously Guruji could not tell them कि तुम ये सत्संग सुनाना. One thinks even at that time कि शायद इन्होंने बोला होगा ये वाला सत्संग just tell. But there was a satsang which I have seen with my eyes. My husband had this manager who was working for him, and he believed in nobody. He never believed in any prayers or anything. And a youngster, his son was was about 9, I think. Maybe, I don't know, but I made him tell me that satsang this Diwali. Again, I said, just आप दोबारा सुनाओ, आपकी वो मेरे को सत्संग हमेशा याद रहेगी. And then he told me, he said, my son was, matlab, the doctors had given up on him. He had some problem whereby I think his nerves were dying, and it was coming up from the feet, and it was rising with every few days, and then it came up to the neck. And the doctor said that now, if this comes up further on the head, then that's the end. And he had gone to every possible place and thing, and nothing happened. Then somebody, I think the doctor herself, the doctor was a believer of Guruji in the hospital, said, would you keep Guruji's swarup under his pillow? He thought, what do I have to lose? and that boy started improving suddenly and steadily. And naturally he started thinking, he started building some faith and thinking. But then what else happened is that he said, I was on a motorcycle or some two-wheeler, and he said, I saw Guruji crossing the road and looking at me, turning his head and looking at me. And my God, I have seen this whole thing is not, and this is when Guruji was there. Then similarly, there's another instance like this. There was this family. They used to come to the Pranic Healing Center, and I used to see them there as fellow healers. And I would go to Bade Mandir. I would do everything, but without that full faith. So I was going to Bade Mandir. Koi tyohar tha, I don't know what. So I went and I see this couple there with their daughter. So I said, आप यहाँ भी आते हो? आप कैसे आते हो? Because I would love to know कि अच्छा इधर कोई बात सुनने को मिल जाए तो maybe my faith, which is not fully there, maybe that will build up. So they said, ये देखो हमारी बेटी ये चल रही है ना जो हमारे साथ. So they said कि ये this girl, her organs had started failing or something terrible had happened. And again, in her case also, the doctors had told them that she won't survive. She was on the bed all the time. She had missed a year of school. And somebody told them, because they were in Vasant Kunj and they could just go to Empire Estate so easily, they said, Guruji hai udhar, aap unse blessings le lo. Now this family, husband wife, they went to Guruji. All they did was bow down to Guruji, and Guruji said, Japji Sahib paro. So they went home, and for a Sardar family, it's very easy. So they read the Japji Sahib, and they said that was the first day itself. This girl got up and went to the bathroom. So, my God, I said, really? Now this can't be a made-up story. So, how you, so I certainly knew that there is a major big power here. And now what was stopping me was, I was very deeply rooted into my Sikhism, my Path, my Shabad, whatever connected me to my 10 Gurus. So I said, you know what, by doing this, now what face will I show to my Gurus that I have now got yet another Guru? I didn't know anything, really. So I did all this at that time in ignorance. Secondly, I was also a very big follower. I am a follower of Sai Baba also. So to go on to another third, Guru was troubling me. I'm being disloyal. So, chalo, then anyway, this happened, and lots of other there were lots of things. Once I went to Bade Mandir. This is after Guruji was no more. On my way back in the car, I was just thinking in my mind. I didn't even tell Guruji, or maybe I did. I could be doing testing also at that time. At that time I was different. So I may have told him, "Ke Guruji, everyone talks about your fragrance, but I've never smelt your fragrance." And I come home, and this house is pretty huge because it was a big family, and the whole house was fragrant from corner to corner. Matlab, it is a 2-story thing, and it was just fragrant strongly. Like you could not deny that there is fragrance in the house. So my son, younger one, and me had gone to Bade Mandir. We came back, and he said, "Mom, it's in the kitchen also. Mom, you can get the smell here also." It was like that. And I said, my God. Achha. Then after some time, my husband came, and my elder son, they had gone out for dinner. So they came home, and my husband at that time was allergic to agarbatti. So he tells me, "Now you've started burning agarbatti at night also." So I said, no. I said, I haven't done any such thing. So this was confirmed. That Khushbu was confirmed. Then there was this, young girl. I want to actually say it fast because I have too many satsangs. I don't want to miss out, because Shukrane mein I don't want to miss anything, although I know I will, because they're endless shukranas. So this girl, she'd come to stay with me, and she had a problem, where first she was very huge and then she became over thin. She was only bones and skin. So she had got admission to a university, and they were only going to take her into that university in America if she had put on 5 kilos more. Because she, they said that we will be having, she had got 100% scholarship. They said we will also have to pay for her medical expenses if she doesn't gain weight. So then I said, I had gone to Bade Mandir and I just prayed to see. One thing I did, I always asked from Guruji for others, thinking that this is not being disloyal to my gurus. So I would ask for others, huh? So then I said that, Guruji, this girl, can you help her to put on weight? I don't know what happened. I just said this, and I came home and I opened Light of Divinity, and the page that opened, that I cannot forget. It is, one of those early impressions. I open, and the first sentence I read about whoever's satsang it was, girl puts on weight, and I said, this girl is going to put on weight, and she's going. Today she is winning. She makes films, and she's winning the Academy Awards over there. So when Guruji blesses, even indirectly, he gives it all. He gives, matlab, his children who are blessed, they don't do well, they excel. So this I have seen, because from my children's school, there were other children whose parents and those children used to come to Guruji when I have seen them there in at the Empire Estate. All those children are doing so well. They are good children. So we parents don't want to take any credit. We know who's behind it. Every child has turned out very good. They're not into bad habits. They are all very good bachas. So Shukrana Guru Maharaj. This is, for parents to have good children is a huge blessing. It's everything actually. Your real kamai is this only. So Shukrana for this, Maharaj. Then, then my lots of things were happening, and now I think I'll just jump to 2019. I just hope I don't miss out on anything before that, because from 2019 came about the real connect, which went insane. Like, I went really crazy for Guruji after that. So that's why I want to come to that. 2019, 20, and now it's 21. So I had gone to San Diego. In my husband's family, there was a wedding. So his cousin had invited this girl who was from New York. She was her friend. Now this girl was a very, very beautiful soul. For me, she was another guest, but she just latched on to me and she gave me immense love. She was a total Guruji devotee. And she looked at me and she would go on saying, "You're my Guru Behan." So I just thought that, I don't know why she thinks I am Guruji's devotee, but chalo, it's okay. Let her say what she has to say. This girl looked after me, and then slowly she started, after we left from the wedding, she started sending me, I think the YouTube had just started the satsangs, and she shared with me the first links. They were all from Seema Ahuja's Zoom platform. So I started listening to those, those satsangs. Anyway, but not very regularly. And she would send me beautiful forwards, all Guruji ke. So she started connecting me to Guruji without me realizing, without me ready to accept. But see what Guruji did. While I was in San Diego, I was actually, when I was in San Diego, I had left India, and there was a very sad thing that had happened, which is connected to my spirituality, and I was pretty heartbroken and finished actually. So at that time, I think Guruji knew that she will crumble if I don't step into her life now. So that was very kind of him, that in San Diego, I dreamt of Guruji for the first time ever. And I thought that this dream is because she talked so much of Guruji. But it was not like that. Guruji came into my dream. He was feeding me langar in that dream. So I was very grateful now, because I realized what the meaning of such a dream was. Anyway, from San Diego, we went and we stayed here and there all over all over America. There was because we wanted to club it with my son's graduation. See, in those days, I was so disturbed that I used to listen to part. I could not sleep, so I used to listen to part all night, continuously on a loop, one or the other. It would go on playing on YouTube. So I guess I was also connecting to Guruji, but in a very indirect manner via Gurbani. Chalo, anyway, so then we went to Italy, and there I even met my daughter-in-law for the first time. I didn't know she is special, but later on I realized my son is seriously interested in her. She's a very lovely girl. This is Guruji's blessing, Guruji's grace, because I only wanted one thing. I never asked for it, but I think Guruji always knew. I always said, Guruji, I want a very I just want a child who's spiritual, who's connected to the God above. I don't know what caste की होएगी. I don't care वो हिंदू हो कि वो गुजराती हो कुछ भी हो. But वो मालिक मालिक से को याद करने वाली spiritual बच्चा हो. So this girl is she's Christian, but she completely says शुक्राना in matlab, I am so grateful is her favorite line for whatever. She'll see a beautiful sunset. She'll say, I'm so grateful I see this beautiful sunset. So this was where Guruji had fulfilled my wish then. And then I came back to India. And see, these are the milestones, the major things, how Guruji was connecting with me, or he was pulling me towards him because he knew I needed it. I came back, and the reason for which I was upset, that reason was still happening here in India, and it came back in a very bad way. Then when I reached, because that trip was 1 month, maybe 1.5 months, I don't think so. And I came, and Guruji came in my dream again. In the second dream when he came, I don't know where I was sitting. I was sitting in Bade Mandir, but I'm not very sure. I just feel a very gentle hand on my back, and very comforting that hand was. And then I look back and I say, oh, this can't be Guruji. Matlab, I'm thinking I'm not so lucky that way. So it was that touch was so beautiful that I still recall that dream so well that I just thank him for it every time. So now when we came back, I started healing very fast from that issue. Then in June, I get a dream, and no, I don't get it. I got a dream, right? In June, I got a dream. That time COVID had begun in India. From March, I think it started the lockdown, and this was in June. And what happened is that all night, I went to sleep like a normal everyday routine. Nothing was wrong with me. But that night, I was sweating from top to toe. And Guruji comes in my dream and says, Tera operation kar deta. And I'm thinking, what could this mean? But I didn't think much of it. In the morning when I woke up, I could not walk. I could not stand. I could not sit. If I tried to do anything, I would, I felt I'll just faint, I'll fall down. So I just walked up to the kitchen and I told them, I can't help. I was holding the wall and walking. And I said, today I cannot be participating in anything. Please just do whatever. And I'm not feeling very well. I didn't tell my family anything, that because then they worry. The boys just start worrying for nothing. And I knew I'd be fine. But I didn't get fine. By afternoon, I was still in a very bad shape, still feeling like a blackout in front of me. We checked my blood pressure, my sugar, all was well. And by afternoon, I just told them, I made an excuse. I said, my stomach is upset. I won't join you for lunch. And then I went to sleep and I put earphones in my ears and I played Sukhmani Sahib ka part. By mistake, no, there's no mistake. There's never a chance. That part played twice. So 2.5 hours, the part was playing, I was sleeping. But when I woke up, I was healed 100%. So then it made sense, तेरा operation कर देता. What I was to go through, I have no idea. But it healed also as fast as it came, and that was it. But strangely, that same thing happened to me again just a month ago. I've come fast forward because that same feeling giddy, feeling like nothing is, and I was checking my sugar, I was checking my BP, all fine. That evening only I got a call from uh, Guruji ka ashram that आप सत्संग शेयर करेंगे, and I'm saying, I'm telling, thinking in my mind, I never say no. One doesn't ever want to ever say no to seva like this. But I said, Uncle, मैं तो बैठ नहीं पा रही हूँ, आज मेरी तबीयत बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है. And then he said, कोई बात नहीं. I said, मैं मना नहीं करती हूँ कभी भी, but ऐसे है. And after 1 hour, I started feeling well. I said, you're feeling well? Call him up now, because you're feeling you're not going to be able to deal with yourself the way you've said no. So I called him. I said, Uncle, have you found someone to speak? I can speak. I'm feeling well. He said, nahi, nahi, koi baat nahi. I said, Uncle, anytime, I never say no. Whenever you tell me I'm fine, just one of those days I'm not feeling good. Next day he told me, आप share कर लो आज. I was so relieved. I said, Guruji ने माफी तो दे दी. I didn't want to say no. I said no, but anyway. So he heals you also instantly anyway. So back to 2019, and my daughter-in-law, she came to India because she wanted to check obviously the family and where he lives and who are the parents, how are they. So she came, she stayed with us for a month and a half, and when she was about to leave, she fell very sick. She got every space of her mouth, her tongue, I think, I don't know, maybe her throat was full of these chalas. And even if she breathed in air, it was difficult, leave alone drink water or eat food. And I said, my God, she's fallen sick and she's just about to leave. Ab to her parents will never send her to India again. So I was very worried. Not for the reason that she won't come and but I was worried. To see her in pain was impossible to see her like that. So I asked my sister-in-law, I said, do you have Guruji's pendant? See, now if you ask me, I have everything. Un dinon mein I didn't have these things also. She said, yeah, I have. I said, please get me one. I want to give it to her. She's not well. So my sister-in-law came and gave it to her. She was still not better. When she left, she was barely able to, she was just not well. She was in pain still, but her father, being a dentist, sorted her out immediately. But my point is that that whole bahana was, I think, that Guruji wanted to go with her because she keeps that pendant with her at all times till today. So, Jai Guruji, this was your way to keep my baby and you in your Sharan. So, this is what happened then. And then in somewhere around, see, this is how my faith was just building up, but still some doubt somewhere was still happening. Then my husband fell very unwell, and it wasn't COVID. He had a very, very high BP, and that also Guruji sorted out quite well. Obviously, it did some other damages. His eye got, damaged in the bargain, but wo bhi sort out hua. Then I had another dream of Guruji. This time I was in a building which was an old ordinary C building, and I'm on the first floor and I'm looking down, and I say, my God, I say, Guruji is coming, and he's just wearing his regular clothes, pant, shirt, and he is coming up very quickly. So I'm not even able to pick up, get thali and flowers enough ready for him, because before I know it, he's come up. But he comes up and he's got no people with him. He's not wearing those expensive clothes. He's so simply dressed, and he just comes, gives me a hug and goes. So I was grateful for that. Now, what happened is that then my son, he lost some money. My husband came and gave it to him. He was in his room, and he was sitting and sorting out all his university papers, certificates. So in the midst of that, my husband came and gave him some money. this is my younger son. Then what happened is that he said, Mom, after at night, he says, Mom, where's that money which dad gave me? I said, I don't know. How am I supposed to know? He said, I haven't left my room all day, so it should be here only. I'll look for it. But he didn't find the money anywhere. We turned the room upside down. We didn't leave a single inch. And the room was a complete, matlab, there was no place there was left. I said, where do you think you kept it? I kept it in my briefcase. That boy opened the briefcase 20 times. I must have opened it another 20 times. We literally turned it upside down. It wasn't there. वो रात को 1 बजे उठता था. He used to check कि इस briefcase में ही तो मैंने रखा था, पर कहाँ गया, इसमें तो है ही नहीं. And again he would check again, and he was looking very sad because his nature and temperament is such. If the money is not mine, I have no right to lose it. If I had earned it, I've lost it, no problem. That was his thinking. So he was very upset, and I could see that. And a week passed by. And I was going to have satsang at home on Tuesday. And I just went to Babaji's room, and Guruji's picture there, I looked at it and I said, Guruji, Tuesday को सत्संग है, आप अगर हेल्प कर दो ना, अगर वो पैसे मिल जाए तो मेरा मन जो है ना बड़े आराम से आपका सत्संग करेगा. नहीं तो मेरा मन तो अभी वहीं पर बार बार जाता है कि वो गए कहाँ. We knew nobody's touched it at home. There's nobody like that. But then where did it disappear? So I must have just said this to Guruji and come down, and एकदम ऊपर से शोर मचा कि मिल गए पैसे. I said, हैं पैसे मिले कहाँ, पहले ये बताओ. Would you believe it was in the same briefcase which I had personally also checked? So this is Guruji. He can do it all. Maybe he even hid the money to build up my faith. We never know what he was up to, but he did it. Then came October, and my husband got COVID. And this was the first wave. Now, when he got COVID, he was his temperature was not so bad. His oxygen levels were not so bad. Then we did the RT-PCR, and in that it showed that the lungs are not good. So the report came at 10:30 at night on WhatsApp from the hospital. So my sister-in-law said, can I see the report? Because she said, मुझे समझ नहीं है, but I can forward it to a friend whose family has all gone through this just now. So she sent it, and that friend called and said, immediately take him to the hospital. His lungs are in a very bad shape. Now at that time, and matlab they insisted, like Guruji was not going to let me not take him to the hospital. So now at that time, there was no place in any hospital anywhere. Actually, this satsang did the whole change in my, because Guruji showed me himself that it is me only, there is no chance. So there was no place in any hospital. But 3 months before my husband got COVID, my son had helped a friend of his with some of his work. So that fellow told him, whenever you need help in hospitals, I can help you. Now, my son came and told me this then, and I said, you know what, beta, ye log aise hi bolte hain. So, you know how friends try to show off. This is the way I took it. I said, kuch nahi hota. No, that fellow said, no ji, I know this doctor, and he took big names. So that night I said, beta, ask him now if he can do something now. So this 3-month back thing was also Guruji's design. Otherwise, we would have never been anywhere in any hospital. He said, in half an hour, you will get a place in the hospital. And we've even arranged the ambulance to pick him up. Now, it went like smooth as if koi VIP treatment hota, as if we are some, owners of the hospital. The way things moved for us, we reached the hospital. The doctor, as we entered the gate, the lift man, the people at the reception all knew my name. You Aarti Singh. Okay, and they had instructed them, inko koi rok tok nahi hai. In fact, my son slept in the same room. We didn't even realize we were doing such a stupidity, but they didn't stop us because they were told not to stop us from anything. The doctor, when he met my husband at night, he said, it's very good you've brought him. We've got the whole night to work on him now because he's not in a good shape internally. And the room number ka total was 7. Okay, so my husband's treatment began. Now, after 3 days of being in the hospital, the doctors looked very worried on the third day again. So he said, "Okay, the antibiotic that we are giving him has not suited him. The condition is worsened in the lungs." So that was obviously something to worry about. And I called up my sister-in-law because she is, she being the eldest, one is, one looks at her as a mother figure. So I said, this is what the doctor is saying. And I hesitate to tell her because being that mother figure, she also worries like a mother. So I didn't want to disturb her also. But she just told me one thing. She said, do you have Guruji's jal over there? I said, yes. I said, he's having that every day. She said, does he have his Guruji's pendant? I said, yeah. So she said, just take that pendant, tell him to take it in his hand, to kiss the pendant and touches to his chest. Would you believe this little thing just began? Matlab, he started recovering and he was home after 3 days. So, Jai Guruji, this whole hospital trip, going, being there, coming home was not normal. It was like somebody else has taken over. That was the then I said, Guruji, today I have decided from now on I will never doubt you. I have made the biggest mistake by saying ye chance hai, and what would I say, ye coincidence hai. I said, there is no coincidence, there is no chance. It has always been you and it is you. I know it and I've seen it today and I will not doubt it ever again. I didn't say it, I actually felt it and meant it. So after that, by the way, when my husband got COVID, even I had got it. He had come home and I realized I have it because I could not smell or taste the food. But I looked at Guruji because by then I was like connecting to him like nobody's business. I was talking to him all the time. Looked at him and I said, I and only I can take care of him because the servants are too scared to get near him. And आप मुझे ठीक रखना, मेरा ऐसे ही हो जाए और खत्म हो जाए. I didn't even get myself tested. I just got fever for 10 days and I had about 3 dolos, and that was it. And I recovered as if nothing had ever happened. And that is not normal to be so fine in that, in that wave. Everyone was getting it bad. My son also got it, but he was staying in another house and he never told me and I never told him. He thought mummy ko fikr hoegi, I thought usko fikr hoegi. So 3 of us did get it, but my son got it pretty bad. But he still didn't test it and he didn't tell anybody. We all talk about it now in hindsight, what stupidities we did. Anyway, by this time, these Zoom satsangs, I had become very actively hearing them. I started listening, and the kind of things I started hearing, I said, my God, Guruji, ye bhi kar sakte hain, Guruji, ye bhi karte hain, Guruji, aise bhi hote hain. It was like, that is why I say कि ये सत्संग platforms बहुत बड़ी blessing है. मतलब it had opened a whole world. That Guruji who I used to sit in front of, who I didn't understand, who was so big, and today he's again come back into my life. Like that I used to think. So in the midst of all those satsangs, this girl, she messaged to me and she said, आपके पास शिव पुराण है? So I said, नहीं है. So she said that, send me your address. Now I thought she's sitting abroad. When will she send it? She won't be able to send it to me. So I gave her my address. But the Shiv Puran reached my house 3 days later. ये भी गुरुजी की करनी थी. When the Shiv Puran came, I said, ये तो हिंदी में है. My Hindi is very bad. I cannot read it मतलब for peanuts also. तो फिर I said, now what do I do? अभी मैं बेअदबी भी नहीं कर सकती और ना मैं रख सकती हूँ ना मैं पढ़ सकती हूँ. What do I do? Just see, the next day I was listening to a satsang and this Rohit Kapoor, who's no more, वो अपने शिवपुराण वो अपनी शेयरिंग में बोल रहे थे कि अब शिवपुराण has become so easy for people who can't read Hindi. They just need to open the YouTube and their book, and side by side the same words are being said and you can hear them and read Shiv-Puran. And that's exactly what I started from the next day. Chapter wise, I finished one reading of Shiv-Puran and I've started the second. Now the day the first reading got over, again another, matlab no chance, but again a very beautiful thing happened, which is just happened a month ago. I was just doing something and I pressed some link, and that link did not even have Shiv Puran reading written on it, but it had the reading by Dirija Bhatt auntie. And I said, hey, she's reading the Shiv Puran and she's reading it so clearly. And then my second reading is now with her voice, which is Shukrana Guruji, because I'm very happy to do this. And then I get a message from Guruji uh, through, you see, I don't get messages in my head and all. Like people say that mujhe wo telepathy, I don't know. I'm like this, I have to see something very clearly. So I'll say, this is, I can see it. But if you show me something vague and you say, see, you can see Om, I can't see it. So similarly, I opened the light of divinity and I get a message. I am going to give you a baby, but don't tell anyone. My God, for some time, I was like, is this, can this be for me? Can this be a message? And sure enough, after a few days, I came to know that my daughter-in-law is expecting a little baby girl, just expecting a baby. Now, subsequently, every time I would open the not the Shiv Puran, the light of divinity, I only read very scary messages of children who have special needs. कभी मैं YouTube देखूं तो भी वही ऐसा ही कोई सत्संग आ जाता था. I said, what is going on? What is Guruji trying to tell me? I'm so scared. I stopped opening the light of divinity because this fear started growing. Every time I would open, this would happen. I didn't understand what Guruji was trying to tell me, but it was very scary. Then when the baby was born, I'm just jumping ahead and then I'll come back again. When the baby was born, she came a little early. And when we knew she's coming early because the water bag had burst. Now that day I was at the visa office and I was at the VFS, and I was trying for my visa for Germany because I knew baby is coming, but baby decided to come earlier. And I was very scared, and she did come a little early. Now I said, देखा जो गुरुजी बता रहे थे वही होएगा. Now the baby is coming early, now this, now that, but the rubbish thoughts were coming into my head. That night I was worried, which I know we should never worry. We should never follow fear, because we should overrule it with faith. But जो भी था चिंता अंदर से थोड़ी थोड़ी तो लगी हुई थी. But see how Guruji comforted this person who I call him maybe once in 3, 4, maybe 6 months, only when I need a favor, which is somewhere where I cannot, I don't know, somehow he's my go-to person. He's much, much younger than me. And, but he always says, हाँ मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, I'll help you, I'll put you onto this person and this one may help you here. So that day I had called him in the morning for the visa. I said, do you know anyone in the visa office? Because here they're not taking my husband's application because of his Covaxin and COVID. So he said, no, there I can't help you. But he called me at night when I was worrying. And I said, how come you called me? He said, I wanted to ask you whether your work got done. I said, no, wo to chodo, it didn't get done. And I'm a little worried about this baby now. She's just going to come anytime. You know what he told me? He told me this something that he's also old Sangat. He used to sit with Guruji, and Guruji's really blessed this boy. He's done extremely well. So when he was with Guruji, obviously his connect is another level. तो वो कहता है कि आप मेरी बात सुनो. I said, अच्छा बताओ. He said कि मैं ना few days back, he says, I just don't know what happened to me. I was in the bathroom, but when I came to my senses, I was in a pool of blood. I said, what? He said, but you know what happened when I was in that state where unconscious or whatever? He says, Guruji came to me and said, Hale tera time nahi aaya, chal wapas. So my God, hearing this gave me hope that Guruji can there, I'm with you. When I am there, then don't worry. So somehow his satsang made me worry not. And then the baby came, baby was good. She was fine. Now, after 1 month, again, I'm going to tell you a very, very faith building satsang of mine. 1 month after the baby was born, I was in Germany. I had tried my level best कि मैं at least अब तो पहुंच ही जाऊं. तो I reached and baby got jaundice. This is not the jaundice the babies are born with, because that one is somewhere easier to handle. But this jaundice was because the mother had to take antibiotics after 1 month, and the baby's liver is very small. It absorbed the uh, whatever the toxicity of the antibiotics, and she became absolutely yellow, like you rubbed haldi. Her bilirubin was so high, I don't even want to tell you that, but it was scary. I spoke to a doctor in Bombay, in Delhi, and she told me that this is very high. You know, the milestones become late. They can get late, delayed. तो आई सेड, देखा, यही तो मैं पढ़ रही थी, यही तो मेरे को गुरुजी वार्न कर रहे थे. माय गॉड, अब तो हो गया, अब तो गड़बड़ हो गई. एंड आई सेड, गुरुजी कुछ भी हो जाए, मुझे बीमार कर दो, मुझे कुछ तकलीफ देनी है, मैं आपको नहीं कहूंगी आप अपने पे ले लो, आप मुझे दे दो, बस बच्चे को ठीक कर दो. आई मतलब आई वाज लिटरली dying inside. Now I called a sangat in Delhi, somebody who's very connected to Guruji, very, very connected, and she just kind of gives you some direction, which maybe she gives it and she speaks what Guruji wants us to do. She told me, I'll send you a satsang playlist. आप गुरुजी के साथ बैठ के संगत करो. I said, मैं यहाँ बैठी हूँ ना, मेरे पास कुछ नहीं. She said, कुछ नहीं करना, बस गुरुजी के साथ कनेक्शन कर लेना. That's it. So in the morning I woke up and I didn't have a diya, I didn't have agarbatti. मैंने एक बल्ब जलाया and I made a cup of tea, put salted and sweet biscuits and some fruit. I had I had carried with me a small swaroop of Guruji, which I took with me, and on my phone I put on Guruji's picture. And that connect, this is, see, one thing which I learned, that connect which I made with Guruji on that satsang was something which never has happened before or after. So that was it. Then now what happens in between the satsang is that Guruji's face turned completely yellow. I thought, this is my imagination. As usual, I never believe my eyes. You know, I have to see it very obviously. And it was obvious, yet I didn't believe it. And I said, Guruji's turned all yellow. No. Ye ho nahi sakta. But to validate this, Guruji had to show me something more. In the middle of the satsang comes a message, these notifications. Air Marshal Anil Chopra, some political news, he was going to Ladakh or something. So my mind went to that message and I said, Air Marshal Anil Chopra, I think he is a Guru Sangat. So then I told myself, don't be distracted. You are sitting here with Guruji and you're thinking of what this and what that. So I brought myself back and I again connected deeply with Guruji. At the end of the satsang, my mind went back to that. I said, अब तो देख लेते हैं, सत्संग खत्म हो गया, I can do it now. फिर क्या हुआ कि when I opened the YouTube link, I found a small one, a very small satsang by him, 12 minutes ka, which I listened to. And that is when Guruji told me literally, I don't think you can be more obvious. I opened that satsang to listen. I said, सुने तो सही, इनका सत्संग क्या है? He says, कि when I had 22 high bilirubin, that was my count. I had tried everything. I was going to lose my life and I was going to definitely lose my job, I was told. And he had tried every Baba, every Totka, everything, but nothing had helped him. His fellow colleague had told him, Ke chalo, I'll take you to Guruji. He said, I didn't even resist, I went. And he said, मैंने जैसे ही मत्था टेका, गुरुजी ने बोला, मैं तेनू ठीक कर देता. And कल जाके check कर लेना. So from 22, his bilirubin had fallen down drastically. So Guruji said, फिर जाके test करी 2 दिन बाद. So he said कि फिर तो 0 हो जाएगा. Guruji said, नहीं, 3. And so it was. So, but when I heard this satsang, belly ribbon and it falling and healing, I just knew it. And then after the satsang, Guruji's face had turned pink again from yellow. So then I knew. I didn't, matlab, that fear to left me after that, all after this satsang. And the baby was going again for her, for her doctor trip. And I knew कि आज तो कुछ नहीं होगा, आज कोई worry नहीं होगी, कुछ सब ठीक ही बताएंगे. So the doctor who was supposed to draw her blood that day for the third time, and it's very difficult to see your baby screaming, matlab, from the tiny veins they try to take blood. This is what my son and daughter-in-law tell me, but I never went with them ever. So they were very happy that today the doctor said there is no need to take any blood. She's fine and she's looking better and she will progress steadily because she's started getting better. I was like, I just knew it. I didn't even doubt कि ये मुझे आज ऐसा message मिलेगा. So, Jai Guruji, this husband falling sick and this baby getting well, matlab, small, they're very, very big, but there are many small things that Guruji has done before this also. Like my husband had this eye surgery, and I don't know for what reason, leaving all the Delhi doctors, we went off to Chandigarh. This was last year, I think September. And we went to Chandigarh just because we felt that the doctor there was our neighbor. And see, but Guruji had another reason. I think I went there because I needed to connect with a old Sangat, that is Babu auntie, MP Sandhu uncle's wife. So she was a beautiful Sangat and they have Guruji ke jode. So I knew that trip was something about Guruji was going to happen to me over there also. Wahi hua. Then I'm telling them, I'm telling Guruji in my mind, Guruji, I want to feel your presence here. I don't even see Jai Guruji written on any car. So kahin to kuch, somewhere something. And then when they took my husband in for it was a major surgery. It was to do with his retina, but 2 hours long surgery. I just sat down I said, while they're doing his thing, I'll read the Sukhmani Sahib ka part. I opened my gutka and I find Guruji ka swaroop in it, which God knows when I had put it. But that is the way Guruji is. He had to show me that he was there because I really asked for him very much. Then it happened that my sister-in-law gets a message from somebody who says ke aapki matlab, imagine this message comes on voice message, which she was busy. She had satsang in her house and she opens it at night and he said कि आपकी sister-in-law के लिए मैं कल प्रसाद भेज रहा हूँ बड़े मंदिर से. So she sent me the message the way it was. She said, "Okay, you asked for it." I said, "No, I have not spoken to him at all." I said, "Did you tell him that my husband is not well and we need some blessings?" She said, "No, I never spoke to him." Amazing that morning he came and he dropped the prasad at our gate. And my sister-in-law, it just struck her. She said, "You know what? If you can send your driver, a driver from Delhi, matlab Delhi to her house, if you can send him with these blessings, I will carry them for you to Chandigarh. I'm coming in after 2 days." Now this was Guruji's grace and how. मतलब बड़े मंदिर से प्रसाद चल के चंडीगढ़ हमारे हाथ में आ गया. So thank you Guruji for loving us like this, because it really makes us feel very comforted, because ये दुनिया तो एक तरफ और आपका प्यार, it just is something else only. So it came, we got fruits and we got so many blessings there in Chandigarh, and we had but we were all Guru Sangat, so we were all very, very happy to receive it. So this happened. Then और भी क्या हुआ कि once my sons, when they joined the business, there was a lot of cleaning up which was needed to be done. So इनके जो accounts department, they threw out those people and they said, "Yeah, all cheating you, and they are really messing up with the accounts, so we need to throw them." The boys were very scared because those people could have got very vicious and they could have got us into a lot of trouble. But nothing of that type happened, because I'm sure it is Guruji's protection. जब उन्होंने कह दिया ऐश करो, तो उन्होंने सच में ऐश करानी है उन्होंने डरा के, डरा हुआ जीवन नहीं जीने देना. Then in the same way, they once they threw out all their drivers because the drivers were charging more. We are in a transport company, so they were reporting more usage of diesel and all. So they changed the drivers. Now my husband, तो he's conservative and he says, बेटा वो नए वाले आएंगे, वो क्या होएगा, नए ड्राइवर नहीं मिलेंगे तो गाड़ियां खड़ी हो जाएंगी. It was like fear versus being bold. So anyway, the boys said, no, we have to do what we have to do. Now they got drivers very quickly, but see what happens. One of their trucks went missing. So my son messaged to me at night and it was 12 o'clock. My husband puts his phone on silent. We don't disturb him. So he said, Mom, I am taking these two people with me and I'm going. Our truck has got lost. I'm going to Hisar. I said, ठीक है जी. He went. 2 o'clock he messaged. अच्छा, ये शुरू हो गया था कि कुछ भी बात होती थी, अब डर लगने बंद हो गया था. This is surely a very, very big change. The fear has gone because we know that we have somebody very big standing at our back. वो बचा लेते हैं, पता नहीं क्या करते हैं, वो कुछ तो करते ही हैं हमेशा. So at 2 o'clock he said, truck मिल गया. I said, चलो great. Morning we get another call saying that that truck is in the possession of the police. It had drugs in it. Now, this is a very, very big offense and it's very bad. It could have got all of us behind bars. And my husband started saying, पता है 40 साल पुरानी कंपनी है, सारी किती कराई मिट्टी विच पा देती and हमारा reputation खत्म हो जाएगी. So poor thing was worried. Naturally he was. अब गुरुजी कैसे बचाते हैं, उनके पेपर में खबर भी आ गई सुबह के, but they didn't name the transport company at all. Secondly, the driver who had stopped on the way and filled drugs in the truck, he confessed that these people are not involved, I have done it. So that really was a blessing because वो अपनी जान बचाने के लिए हमें भी फंसा सकता था, but he didn't do it. He's still in the jail. Our truck came back, the goods came back, and our reputation stays intact. So who did this is only Guruji. It is always and only him जो हर पल बचा बचा के रखते हैं.